Hello, my name is Donna Zickenfuss, and I'll be your facilitator for this research education course that will introduce you to how to transfer your face-to-face lecture materials and teaching materials into an online hybrid environment so that you'll be able to teach in a flipped format using Zoom and Canvas. So to get started, I would like to talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of online teaching and learning. So a lot of times people comment to me that their course cannot be taught online, that it just doesn't work. There are ways that you can make any type of instructional environment and topic work in an online environment. The main advantage, though, is convenience and flexibility. So your audience for your courses, your stakeholders are adult learners who are working full-time jobs, who have difficulty finding time to come to classes, and an online learning environment will provide convenience for them in that they can access the materials 24/7. Not that you have to teach 24/7, but they'll be available to them 24/7, and it will give them some flexibility in how they can interact with the research education course materials. This type of format is also much more student-centered than in a regular classroom. So in a regular classroom, you are usually in front of the classroom doing a PowerPoint and directing the learning. In an online environment, your students have to take, or your participants have to take much more responsibility in their own learning and be motivated to use the materials and learn with the materials. The disadvantages are that it will require that you learn some tech skills and tools that you'll need. So you'll need to use Zoom and Canvas, and maybe you'll find other tools that you want to integrate into your course. And that will require a learning curve. Sometimes technology is great when it works, but when you have glitches, that can be a problem. And it can work on both your side and the students or the participant side. Okay. You have to do a lot of planning and developing up front. So you can't, the night before, start throwing materials into a Canvas course. You really have to think through the sequencing of what you're doing and how you want the participants to navigate your course material. So it takes a little bit of planning up front, which is time intensive. Okay. For a flipped and hybrid, this is actually my favorite type of teaching because you get the best of both worlds. You get to see faces in Zoom or in a traditional classroom for part of the instruction, and then you get the flexibility and the convenience of online learning for the other parts of the instruction. So it still incorporates usually some type of lecture component, and that's where you're going to push off a lot of that information that you want to transmit to your students and participants, not that you want to just transmit the content, but it provides a medium for that. It increases the quality time that you can spend with your participants or your students, in that in Zoom you can do more application of the material or real world examples or case studies, and that type of learning will help really solidify the material that you're trying to teach them. The disadvantages are that you have to do some conversion of your PowerPoints into online lectures, and we'll talk a little bit about that in this course. It's going to require some more creative planning, in that you'll have to think about activities that might be useful to reach your designated outcomes or objectives. You may feel like you have less control, so if you're a real sage on the stage, it'll be hard in an online environment to do that. So you become more of a guide on the side and more of a facilitator. So if you noticed at the very first slide, I said, I'm facilitating this course. I'm not really teaching this course. You will be doing work in this course, and I will be facilitating your journey through the course. Your students or your participants have to take more responsibility for their learning. So you have to find ways to motivate them and ways to integrate it to make it more engaging. Here's a really great example of a flipped classroom diagram, in that the first part is where your participants will prepare to come to a Zoom face-to-face session. So they may do background readings, they may watch a recorded video of a lecture. Then they will come into Zoom and they'll be encouraged to do some application of that material. And then after class, there will be some follow-up work that they'll use to kind of finish out the instructional journey. So what's the difference between online and face-to-face? Face-to-face is definitely more teacher-centered. Not always. I mean, teachers do activities in their classroom, but in general, the online environment is more student-centered because the teacher cannot be at the center anymore when you're in an online environment. Time and space is different. So we have asynchronous online learning and we have synchronous online learning. And the flipped classroom combines both of those so that you'll have asynchronous, not in real time activities before and after, and then you'll have a synchronous Zoom session where everyone will be there in the same time and place. Group dynamics are different because it's a little more difficult to communicate online. Discussion formats are a little bit different, and you do need to really think through how you're going to communicate with students and you're going to interact and engage students because it's just the content online. So I really find that the instructor makes a bigger difference online, and your important part is in the designing phase of how you lay that out. The challenges, it's definitely a challenge in some ways because you may feel a little isolated online, but having some activities and discussion boards and FAQs where your participants can interact will be good. Sometimes everyone has different levels of technology, which sometimes can make that difficult. You have to maintain all the online materials that you put up there, so sometimes links go dead and you have to go back and update those. You do need to also teach your participants how to navigate through your course materials. So you just can't throw them up there and say, go to it. You have to kind of give them a game plan on how to navigate. We'll talk a little bit about that in this course. And then think about maintaining your skill sets of when a new product comes out or when a new update comes out, that you'll have to think about that as well. Online learning does tailor instruction in a more individual way than the face-to-face instruction. Opportunities are that you learn new tools and you're constantly learning. I hope that you're going to learn from each other in this course, so I'm going to set up some discussion boards where you can share what you're working on, and you'll be learning from each other just as much as you'll be learning from me. In fact, maybe more than what you'll be learning from me. But that's all an opportunity. And also with your participants, you'll be able to maybe establish working groups or little groups that will get together to have coffee to kind of take this beyond that. So there are some opportunities there. Once you set your materials up front in the course, which is time consuming, then it is easier to maintain them and manage them. So you just can copy and paste and move things around as you decide you're going to do something different. I also think it kind of takes down that barrier between going to class to learn, like you're always in a classroom when you're learning, and this environment, online environment, kind of takes down those boundaries so that your learning is more blended into your everyday life. So you may be sitting at your desk at work at lunch watching a video. It kind of integrates more into your daily life. So in this course, what we're going to be doing is planning some online hybrid course materials. You will not be deciding on the type of course, although I just wanted to let you know that there's different types of online courses. There's totally online, there's hybrid or blended online, there's enhanced or what we're calling high flex in this pandemic time, where you kind of design your course for both audiences and everyone can decide what they want to take. You're going to be working mostly with an online flipped format. You're going to establish a big goal for what you're going to be teaching, and then you're going to write objects that align to that goal. You're going to create an alignment grid, which is going to be a visual kind of brainstorming matrix of what you're going to be teaching and how everything is going to be connected. You're also going to design a teaching activity, and you're going to learn how to use some online tools. So the three big takeaways I'd like you to think about before you embark on this course is that face-to-face courses do not equal online courses. There's many similarities, but they are different, and you need to consider those differences. So some people just try to take their PowerPoint and throw it into an online course and expect their students to download that PowerPoint and watch that PowerPoint. It's a little bit different online. To think about design first and technology second. So a lot of times, flashy bells and whistle technology tools like Zoom, breakout rooms. Everyone wants to use Zoom breakout rooms. I ask you why. I want to know why a tool that you're using aligns to what you designed in your course. So you're not going to pick your technology first and then design your course around that. You're going to design first and then implement with technology. And to think about the opportunities. Like a lot of times when I go online, I think about, wow, I couldn't do this if I was teaching this face-to-face in a classroom. But online, I can do this. So think not so much about how online is limiting for you, but think about how the opportunities are available that would make this a better course for you. So I'll be seeing you in the course. I'll be interacting with you in the course. We'll be doing discussion forums together in the course. And I'll be seeing you soon. So take care.